Our special election bond, we had for 2,200, against 1,453, with a total votes cast of 3,653.
I confirm.
I, John Anderson, presiding officer of the Red Oak Independent School District Board of Trustees of Red Oak, Texas, met with the Board of Trustees sitting on the canvassing board to canvass a special election on May 6, 2023. On May 15, 2023 at Red Oak, Texas. The board convened at 7 p.m. I certify that the figures on the summary sheet corresponds with the numbers provided by the Ellis County Elections Administrator. Witness my hand this 15th day of May 2023.
I make a motion that the board approve the canvassing of the election returns for the bond election held on May 6, 2023, as presented by John Anderson, along with the certificate of order canvassing bond election returns and the order canvassing bond election returns.
Second motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Mr. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Next, we'll canvass the elections from the Board of Trustees election. In place 3, that for Bill Foster, 1,174. For John Anderson, 2,108. Total votes cast, 3,282. For place 4, for Johnny Knott, 1,742. For Clifford Worley, 325. For Kim Sturman, 1,250. Total votes cast, 3,317. In place 5, Shanta Newsom, 388. Sean Kelly, 1,008. Rhonda Landrum, 953. Penny Story, 1,036. Total votes cast, 3,385.
I confirm.
I, John Anderson, presiding officer of the Red Oak Independent School District Board of Trustees of Red Oak, Texas, met with the Board of Trustees, sitting as the canvassing board to canvass the general election of May 6, 2023, on May 15, 2023 at Red Oak, Texas. The board convened at 7 p.m. I certify that the figures on the summary sheet corresponds with the numbers provided by the Ellis County Elections Administrator. Witness my hand this 15th day of May 2023.
I make a motion that the board approve the canvassing of the election returns for the Board of Trustees election held on May 6, 2023, as presented by John Anderson, and declare John Anderson place 3 and Johnny Knight place 4 duly elected school board members. Place 5 will require a runoff election between Sean Kelly and Penny Story.
Is that Mickey? We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and second by Ms. Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Next, we're in consideration and approval of runoff election order for the Red Oak Independent School District Trustee runoff election on June 10th, 2023.
Yes, attached in Board Book, you will find the proposed order for the runoff election for Place 5, Board of Trustees of Red Oak Independent School District on June the 10th, 2023 for Place 5. Administration recommends the board approve the order of election calling for a runoff trustee election.
I move to approve the order of election calling a runoff trustee election on June 10th, 2023.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Ms. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. So normally in our election, or after our election, when we canvass the votes, we would reorg the board, which you would to elect a new board president, vice president, and secretary. In this election, since we have a runoff election on June 10th, we're going to hold off swearing in of those 2 seats, our 2 seats, until we get the 3rd seat filled, and then we will reorg the board then at that time. So we will not be doing that tonight. Next, we'll move into our recognitions. Stanford?
Yes, and we're going to start with Michelle Alera. She'll come up.
Good evening. We have a special guest with us tonight that I would like to invite up here with us, Crawford Armstrong. He's the Vice President from Claims Administrative Services, and he's joining us tonight to present the district with an award. So I'm going to share a little about that right now. So Red Oak is being awarded the Billy Hibbs Safety Award by Claims Administrative Services, our third-party workers' comp claim administrator, for our district dedication to safety. The selection of this award was based on the district's safety performance and participation in the Texas Educational Insurance Association Workers' Comp Program and having the most improved loss ratio in the 21-22 school year. This award affirms our district's commitment to a safe work environment, allowing fewer on-the-job injuries, thus protecting our greatest asset, our employees, as well as reducing our workers' comp cost. We would like to invite and thank Ms. Torres, our benefits and leave specialist, for her hard work with staff to review employee restrictions, to find modified work arrangements to return staff to their current position, which has helped us with the district. So thank you. Okay, we're going to have them stay up here because with this award also comes some exciting news that they have also issued a $500 Annie Azella Jones Memorial Scholarship for the district to award to a student of the district's choice, with the criterion that the scholarship be used to attend an accredited institution of higher learning. The scholarship application was open to our district's graduating seniors that are pursuing an elementary or secondary education career. At this time, it is my pleasure to announce that the Annie Azella Jones Memorial Student Scholarship for $500 goes to Red Oak High School senior Lauren Starling. Lauren plans to attend Texas Women University to pursue a career as an elementary level school teacher. She has been involved in various school organizations and volunteer activities during her time at Red Oak High School. Some of those include Hawkettes Drill, Student Council, Superintendent's Advisory Council, National Technical Honor Society, Texas Association of Future Educators, American Red Cross Blood Drive Volunteer and Donor, Parent Teacher Student Association, Ellis County Food Distribution, and National Honor Society projects. Congratulations, Lauren, and we look forward to hearing all the great things you accomplished and hiring you in the district, elementary principals. Yeah.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to have Ms. Knight to go down and assist us with the Maroon Star Award. Today, we have a presentation of a special award for the district. Red Oak ISD has a Maroon Star Award similar to the Bronze Star Award for the military personnel to be presented to a current staff member or student for their heroic achievement, which leads to a saving of a life. On May the 11th, a student at Red Oak Elementary was suddenly choking when a lunchroom monitor, Alexandria Honeycutt, stepped in and quickly performed the Heimlich maneuver, dislodging the blockage. The student, who is doing well, was brought to the nurse for observation and their parents were notified. Joining us today is Principal Mary Lee Stone and Director of Student Nutrition, Vicki Ibarra, to present the Maroon Star Award to Alexandria Honeycutt.
Awesome.
Fix your hair. Hang on. Hang on.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Okay, next, I'm going to have Ms. Porter to come assist us For the 2022-2023 school year, Red Oak ISD has partnered with area businesses to recognize our outstanding students at each campus and our district staff. Top Hawk celebrates those students who rise to the top. Each grading period, campuses will select the top Hawks from the entire school based on the 4 talons of the Hawk. Each elementary school winner will receive a $25 gift card, and each middle school and high school winner will receive a $50 gift card from our sponsor. Thanks to our sponsor for this grading period, Abernathy Law, and we're joined by Chad Timmons, if you will come on up as well, to present the certificates and the gift cards. So students, when I call your name, if you will come up. From Eastridge Elementary, 4th grader, Nicholas Sanchez. Eastridge Elementary, 1st grader, Aria Johnston. From Red Oak Elementary, 2nd grader, James Black. And from Red Oak Elementary, Pre-K, Ariel Quintana. From Shields Elementary, 5th grader, Jordan Vivacano. And Shields Elementary, Kama Van Troy, 4th grade. And from Shupman Elementary, Pre-K, Maximiliano Acosta Escamilla. And Shupman Elementary, Pre-K, April Huerta. And from Wooden Elementary, 5th grader, Abraham Herrera. And Wooden Elementary, 1st grader, Sophia Aberto. And these are our elementary top Hawks. Congratulations. Okay, and we're going to move into our secondary awards. Going to Red Oak Middle School, 6th grader, Landon Herrera. And Red Oak Middle Schooler, 6th grader, Skylar Hampton. Red Oak High School, freshman, Tony Ivory. And Red Oak High School, sophomore, Montez Williams. Even that up. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Okay, These outstanding businesses also sponsor our Hawk Staff Spotlight. From our bus drivers and office staff to principals, custodians, teachers, and more, our Hawk Nation consists of the best of the best. Every day, Hawk staff go above and beyond in a variety of ways. Tonight's winner will receive a $100 gift card, again from our sponsor, Abernathy Law. Congratulations to our Hawk Staff Spotlight for the 5th grading period, Brian Reed from Red Oak High School, U.S. History teacher and cross-country coach. Just a quick excerpt from the nomination. Coach Reed exemplifies all 4 talents. He goes above and beyond for the kid he coaches for cross country. He encourages them both athletically and academically and is there 100% for his athletes. He is a positive person who pushes his runners to be better every day. Congratulations.
Yeah, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you again to Abernathy Law and Mr. Timmons for coming out.
All right, students, this is a great opportunity to bail out while you can. Wait, where are the adults going? Everybody's up. All right, next we're going to move into our superintendent's report. So,
And we'll start with Dr. Johnston, who's going to be giving us a budget update.
Good evening. It is budget season, and unfortunately, there's a lot of things going on, and we don't have a definitive budget at this point. And more than likely, we're going to adopt a budget based on current formula with maybe a few changes, and the legislature will probably not get it resolved until June or July, so then we'll come back and do that. But what I wanted to do is, if this thing was working, is just go through and talk a little bit about the development process, some of the legislative issues that we're dealing with, talk about property values for a second. Again, in January, we shared with the board the budget calendar for the year, and on the next few slides kind of go through that step by step. We have to adopt a budget by June 30th since we're a July 1st school district. And again, these are the ones that are checked are the items that have already been done. We've gone over the process for last year. We visited with the board in January. We started reviewing the components of the budget in January as well. We met with budget managers, both campuses and departments, in the month of February to see how things were going this year, to give them some updates maybe for next year, what we thought, and more than likely saying we weren't sure what the funding was going to be for next year, so the budget was pretty much going to be the same from this year to next year. Again, we started estimating what the revenues were going to be, what the staffing needs were going to be. We talked about it in cabinet several times. And then we provided the budget managers their budget in March. And we started doing the salaries and benefits, which we're going to talk about tonight as well. And then we got the preliminary values on April 30th, which was the date we were supposed to get it. And unfortunately, the values were higher than most people probably hoped they would be. I thought they would be lower because of the high values they were last year, but again, they were still high again this year, and y'all probably seen some of the news on that. Again, we talked about it in cabinet again last week. and present the preliminary estimates to the board tonight. We have to publish by the end of May for a public hearing in June. Then the board's going to adopt the budget in June as well. And then we may, and again, based on what happened in 2019, the board used to adopt a tax rate in June as well. But because the tax rates are changing from year to year, the state says you can't adopt it until after July 25th. So we'll come back in August like we've done the last several years and ask the board to adopt it. Some of the components, and as I've shared in the past, when we have to adopt a budget here in June, everything is pretty much a guesstimate. We have nothing that's a final number. The property values, we get the initial one in April. We don't get the final property value, certified values until July 25th, which is after the budget's adopted. The ADA, we have to estimate what the ADA, the student enrollment's going to be, and that's not finalized until the end of the school year, so it'll be to May of 2024. Again, the comptroller's property value, that's also a number that we don't get probably, it was not finalized until August of 2024, 2 months after the school year is over. And again, so as I say there, July 25th is a CAD information, ADA, and the comptrollers as well. And again, also, because of that, we have to estimate the tax rate. And I factored in a reduction of the tax rate for this year by 8 cents. And we don't know what that's going to be yet, but I'm estimating at least 8 cents because the statewide values are over 2.5%. Again, this is a chart that I also show. The red is next year's budget, and a lot of things we have to estimate before that red period starts, and we don't get final information until after. And so this is the ADA where we have to estimate it up front. The board adopts a budget, and then we don't know what the final ADA is until the settle up, which takes place in September of 2024. Same thing with the property values. The red is the fiscal year. The light blue is the comptroller's property value study, where we got last year's in January, the estimate, or this year's the estimate, but we won't get the final one until August. And so it's I just showed this to show that it's not an easy way to go and develop a budget. And this is a chart showing the tax rates over the last years. I don't have this year's in there, but as you see over the last 4 years, as we've talked about from time to time, the tax rates have gone down for the maintenance and operation fund. Now, some of our revenue and expenditure projections. We're looking right now at a 100 student or 100 ADA increase over the 22-23 budgeted ADA. Typically, we use 95% of enrollment, but over the last several years, the ADA has been roughly around 93.5% of enrollment. So I factored that down a little bit, projecting a fall snapshot enrollment of 6,800 students. Our projected this last year at 6,580, we were right at 6,500. So we're only 81 students off of that. A 3% increase in all the other enrichment type allotments. I've also projected a $50 increase to the basic allotment. There's still several different proposals out there, but I thought $50 would be safe. And also projected increase in the safety allotment, $15,000 per campus. It's currently $9.72 per ADA, and I estimated it to go up to $10 per ADA, which is not a big increase for that component. But the $3,000 per campus does help as well. Increase the local assessed property values by 21%. They came in a little higher than that, roughly around 26%. The preliminary estimates, they're going to go down probably because people are going to, protest, and that's going to go down. And again, what hasn't been really released a lot is the comptroller statewide, which would reduce the property tax rate as well. And we're waiting probably for the legislature to put all that together. Projecting the property value study, which is the comptroller, would be 1.5%. That's higher than what I initially hoped it would be. And at the same time, factored in that the homestead exemption is going to remain at $40,000. Again, this is also a chart I show from time to time as the local shares go up, which are property taxes. in this case, the comptroller's property taxes, the state component goes down. And here's an example of how that works. And this is just an example because people have asked from time to time. If you have 3 districts and all 3 districts have 1,000 students or 1,000 ADA, average daily attendance, and the state says the basic allotment's going to be $61.60 per ADA for the regular programs, that these 3 districts are going to get $6,160, 6,000 or $6,160,000 per the regular program. The property value study, the comptrollers for that District A will give $5 million, District B 2.5, and District C, which is a wealthy district, will get $7 million. And so the state funding will make up the difference, and as you see, that District C actually will give money back to the state, and that's the recapture component. And I just thought that adding that to it would just, because people ask about the recapture from time to time. Some of the additional revenue components. We also get a fast growth. Our district has been growing fast over the last few years. And they changed it 2 years ago to where it was a 6-year look back period. And we've had over the last 6 years growth. We grew 689 students. They say you have to have over 250, so then we take the 250 off of that, we have 439. So that's factored in as well. In the past, it's been prorated at 72%. The hope this year it would not be prorated. That's some legislation talking about not prorating it anymore. And again, the tax rate or the tax collections going up a little bit, as well as some of the pension payment, as well as Medicaid reimbursement. From the expenditure side, what we're bringing tonight as well is salary increases. Those may change too between now and when the final legislative session is over. Teacher pay scale, looking at $1,500 per step increase. Administrative professionals, a 3% increase. Paraprofessionals and auxiliary, a 5% increase based on the midpoint. And if you're a teacher that's overstepped, your salary is over the new step 30, then they'll receive a $1,000 increase as well. We've also added some positions required for the expansion of programs as well as increase in enrollment. And we've also, at this point, are hoping to maintain the incentives that we've implemented over the last several years for teachers and staff to come into the district and to stay and work on an everyday basis. Some other liability insurance is going to increase, as well as some, we're going to have some few new staff members. We need to have technology and furniture for them, so those dollars are budgeted as well. It's not coming out of the campus's budget. It's not coming out of the department's budget. The district is going to fund those. So here's sort of a breakdown. Our state funding is projected to go down because property value's gone up, and so therefore the state component goes down. So we're total about a $4.3 million projected increase in revenue, and we're pretty much at that same number on the expenditure side. The staffing and salary increase is almost $4 million. Property insurance is going to go up again because of additional vehicles that we're adding, as well as North Texas has a lot of damage, and so that's factored in. Even though we may not have received it, it's factored in for the area as well. And so right now we're looking at a positive variance of $27,000. Again, that may change based on what's happening at the state level. Again, just FYI, this is what we provide the campuses, elementary, middle, and high school, on a per pupil basis is how they're funded for their discretionary spending. It's consistent between all elementary campuses, get the same amount of funding, both on a per pupil basis, and we also use at-risk students to give a bit more to help those at-risk students. And some of the legislative changes. Again, there's one bill out there on the basic allotment. One bill has it increasing $90 the first year and $50 the second year. And then hopefully there's going to be language that has it inflationary go up year to year, not be stagnant for multiple years. And I have a slide here next to show you that. Another bill added $50 per year, and that's the one I used for this situation. Again, increase for teacher salaries. They increase the minimum teacher salary schedule, which our salary schedule is above that, so it doesn't necessarily impact us by them doing that. And there's also talking about adding salary for a one-time salary increase to teachers anywhere from $2,000 to $6,000. Not sure where that's going to end up. This is a chart I put in there. This is the basic allotment. As you see, the last 4 years, it's been 6160. And then before that, it was 5140 for 4 years. So it's not, there's not a, even though costs are going up and all that, there was not a progression in the basic allotment. So hopefully that will be rectified this year by having some sort of inflationary factor to do it. Because as you see, it's been pretty stagnant for multiple years. School safety, there's all sorts of discussion about school safety as well. One bill had the increase to the $10, which I have in our projected budget. Another bill increased it at $100 per ADA, and having an armed security officer at each campus. I think that's kind of been shot down a little bit at this point, that maybe more, some districts may not be able to afford that. So I think that's kind of been put on the back burner. Then other bills had $12,000 to $1,680 per campus. Again, that's based on the enrolled students at the campuses. If you're high enrollment, then you may get a little bit more. But we're still waiting to see how those tax rate compressions. We have anywhere between 7 cents and a 15-cent reduction in the tax rate on top of what the comptroller's office may come. Another one increased the homestead exemption to $70,000 from the $40,000. Another bill had it reduce the appraisal cap. Right now it's at 10%. So your values can only, taxable values can only go up 10% a year. There's a bill that says you can maximize it only at 5%. There's a lot of people that don't like that because they feel that's going to impede their ability to raise taxes. Not so much school districts, but other entities are worried about their revenue doing something like that. Also talking about reducing the maximum compressed rate. It's right at 90%, talking about reducing it to 80%. And so we just have to wait and see what that's going to end up happening to the school districts. Some other changes, they want to change from average daily attendance to full-time equivalency for some special programs such as special education, increase of transportation allotment. Right now it's at $100 per mile. They want to increase some of the regular transportation as well as special education. So we'll have to wait and see how that hands out. At the same time, May 26th is when everything needs to be on the record, and that's not too far away. And there's no action, not a lot of action taking place right now between the two houses. So we'll have to wait and see. More than likely, it's going to be a special session, and most of this will probably take place in that special session in June or July as well. Now, one of the other things that we're supposed to do every year, and it's part of the first rating, and that's the rating we get every year, and we're at the superior rating, is just to share with the board the difference between the locally certified property values, which is the CLPC or CLPV, and then the state certified CSPV. Local is what the county appraisal district comes up with, and that's what's used to help collect taxes every year. The state certified is done by the comptroller's office. With their goal is to try to make sure that each CAD is evaluating or assessing property equitably. As you know, you have a bunch of different counties around the state, and one county on the east side of the state may be using some factor, somebody on the west side may be using a different factor. So they're trying to make sure everybody stays equitable. And they do a survey every 2 years. And this is what's also factored into the funding formula, because the higher the state certified values, the lower the state funding is. And again, I just throw this out there to show, again, it's local share, which is the comptroller's values go up, state share goes down. And this is the chart. The green star at the top is the local property values. The blue star is the state property values. And as you see, the local values have historically been a little higher than the comptroller's values. And as you see, as the values, the comptroller's values have gone up, the bottom there is the state aid from the state. That's been going down. Now, the downside with the 22-23 is our ADA is a little bit lower, so it's actually gone down lower than what was projected at this point. Hopefully the ADA is, for the last 6 weeks, is going to help increase and raise that up. And then on the 23-24, the estimate there is $30.9 million. And that's primarily because of added the increase in the basic allotment. So, but as you see, other than those two little components in 22 and 23, the funding or the state component has been going down over the last few years. Then the next steps, continue to monitor the ADA between now and the end of the month to see if that hopefully will add more state funding for us. Monitor legislative actions to see what, if any, components that we can factor in, because we're going to have to again come back in June and have the board adopt an official budget, which again may be amended based on what legislation does. Hold a public hearing in June, right before the board meeting, and then ask the board to approve the budget and a proposed tax rate, not the final tax rate, because we have to have a tax rate to determine what we think the property taxes collection is going to be. And then in August, come back and ask and approve the property taxes. And again, if any of those things change, and we did this last year, our property values went up higher than what we were projecting last year. So in August, we asked the board to increase the property tax collections and lower the state funding. We did that last August. So we probably will come back in August and September, depending on when the legislature finishes all their work. Hopefully they'll get it done over the summer, but I think in 2019, we came back in September and has asked the board to amend the budget because of the legislative session taking longer than projected. And so that's really it. So I don't know if there's any questions at this point. And again, just wanted to give you all an overview before we come back in June and ask you to adopt the budget. Make sure you just wanted you to deal with it.
Anybody have any questions? Are you projecting the overall budget about the same, other than the 4-point-something million?
Yeah, that would be the increase in the general fund, yes. But all the other components that we're factoring, other than probably salaries, would from department and campuses to remain the same.
About the same?
And the campuses will vary based on enrollment projections.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
And pretty much departments, we're not really impacting the department budgets at all.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. Now, I just have a few things that I wanted to recognize some of the accomplishments and things that are going on in the district. Our Red Oak High School track team competed in the UIL state meet over the weekend, and our boys 4x100 are our 5A state champions. So proud of them. And those students are Darrell Collins, Cameron Cleveland, Rodney Malone, and Braden Robinson. Also, we had 5th place in the boys 4x200. 5th place and Braden Robinson in the 100, 3rd place Cameron Cleveland in the 200, and our boys track team finished 3rd place overall in state. So that's quite an accomplishment. Very proud of them. We couldn't get a turnaround in order to get them here tonight, but we'll be bringing them back over the summer as well. And the girls 4x400 placed 7th, and Kayla Roberts Day placed 8th in the shot put. So girls had a good showing as well. Our Red Oak High School seniors signed letters of intent to play at collegiate level next year. We had several of those. Boys soccer, Chris DeMond was SMU. Girls soccer, Ashley Chandler, LSU Shreveport. Girls soccer, Georgia Santos, Navarro. Girls soccer, Zamira Ball, UC Riverside, away in California. Boys basketball, Jaden Murphy in Concordia University. Boys basketball, Braden Horn, Southwestern University. So those were the ones that have just recently signed. So we're proud of those students as well. Congratulations to the 12 Red Oak High School seniors who are members of the Hawk Scholar Program. They received their associate's degree from Navarro College this past Saturday. They were Khalid Alakara, Kadisha Asher, Michaela Ballard, Alicia Cook, Nicole Davis, Lisa Green, Asa Lowe, Aubrey McKnight, Tasnan Reza, Benedicto Sanchez, Matthew Smitherman, and Priya York. So proud of those students that now have their associate's degree as well. Red Oak High School hosted their annual VIP prom. I believe Miss Porter and Miss Peterson attended that as well. It was a great event. It's always something that's very enjoyable watching those special needs students enjoy their prom with their peer partners. Red Oak ISD administrators, along with board members, surprised teachers and employees of the year during the celebration tour, and these employees will be honored with a special end of the year celebration. Red Oak ISD has been named 2023 Best Communities for Music Education by the National Association of Music Merchants, and we'll be doing a presentation on that at the next board meeting. Red Oak ISD celebrated Teacher Appreciation this month, and every campus honored their staff with lots of special things and treats. It was a great week, seeing all of the different things that were on social media. I love seeing all the wonderful things going on. Red Oak ISD campuses also hosted open houses during Celebration Texas Public Schools Week. Campuses had special performances, displayed artwork, and welcomed families into the school to visit with their teachers and staff. And the Red Oak ISD Education Foundation held their annual Celebration of Star Banquet, honoring the top 25 seniors and their most influential educators. And most of our board attended that, and we appreciate y'all coming as well and serving there at that. Red Oak High School held a signing ceremony for Decision Day for 2023 for seniors to declare their collegiate trade school military intentions for the next level. And during Decision Day, students signed ceremonial acceptance letters. There was quite a crew there as well, for those of you that were unable to go. We hosted our annual Red Oak ISD Spring Senior Citizens Luncheon at the high school. We had almost 90 community members come to that. We were so excited about that. Guests were treated with a cadet escort and carnation as they arrived for the photo booth with the Hawk mascot. And the seniors also treated them, the Red Oak High School choir actually treated them with a performance. So it was great having those community members into the school. I also want to congratulate Dr. Johnston and his team for receiving the Association of School Business Officials ASBO International Certificate of Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 2022 Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Always getting awards. They are doing a great job being fiscally responsible and financially transparent with our community. The award represents a significant achievement and reflects your commitment to the transparency and high quality financial reporting. So congratulations, Dr. Johnston and your team. And remember, early voting for the runoff election will begin on May the 30th. Election day will be June the 10th, and the voting will just have one place. It'll be take place at Grace Covenant Church. So those are the few of the things that I wanted just to recognize, and I want to give a quick update. This will be quick. A quick update on what we're doing moving forward with the second middle school. And now that the bond is passed, we're moving forward. We met first thing this past Monday morning, so bond passed on Saturday night. We were in the meeting room on Monday morning trying to see what we're going to do next steps. So we have 5 CMAR. You're going to hear that acronym a lot over the next few months as we start going through this. That's Construction Manager at Risk. We have 5 CMAR construction companies who have responded to our solicitation, which was duly posted, advertised, and executed according to the Texas Government Code 2269, Subchapter F. A committee of 7 will be interviewing all 5 of those. We chose to interview all 5 of those who submitted. We'll be interviewing on May 23rd in an effort to ensure that we get the most qualified company. They will work in conjunction with the Red Oak ISD staff and our architect throughout the development and construction phases after ensuring a guaranteed maximum price. The selected CMAR, which is the construction manager at risk, will oversee the project all the way through construction completion. So there was a little confusion as to the difference. So it's our architect will be working with Red Oak ISD in conjunction with the CMAR, who will actually oversee that project throughout. And when I say they're going to ensure a guaranteed maximum price, let me kind of explain that. The guaranteed maximum price is the highest amount we would pay for the project. However, in the event that we come in less than the GMP, those savings will be given back to Red Oak ISD. So if they quote us a price and then they come in and we're able to scale back on some things or get better bids on some things, we will recoup that money. We will not have to pay the extra at that point. So it'll help us save money by doing that. It's important to note that the guaranteed maximum price is only for construction. It's not the FF&E, which is the furniture, fixtures, and equipment. We're going to do a lot of that on our own. That will save money if we do that on our own instead of putting it through the construction manager. So the 5 who responded, the ones that we will be interviewing are Balfour Beatty Construction, Core Construction, Jackson Construction, Jores Construction, and Pogue Construction. So those are the ones that we will actually be interviewing. All 5 of those those are the only 5 who submitted proposals on that. So questions on that before we do a real quick presentation? Make sense? Okay. So at this time, if I could have all the board members to go down to the front, please. That's y'all. As you know, there was a lot of effort that went into the entire bond process from beginning to end. And it's not just been one process, but it's been 3 processes that we have gone through. And we want to thank everyone for everything that they did. And I really appreciate this board for everything they did as well and what they do to continue to make Red Oak ISD the best of the best. The bond election was tough. It was long and it was rigorous and it was tough, but the hard work paid off for getting the information out to the voters. We appreciate you getting that information out. If the principals would come forward, they are going to be presenting each of you with a Red Oak ISD hard hat. We're going to take a quick picture, and then if you'll leave your hard hat on the table, we need those again for groundbreaking ceremony, and I don't want you to lose them. So we're going to have you give those back after you get a quick picture.
Yeah. There you go. You got a big head. Then you won't be able to see it. We'll find it now. It's fine.
While they're making their way, a lot of people are already asking about groundbreaking. That will be closer to the end of summer, first of fall, before we get the CMAR in place and get all of that ready for the groundbreaking ceremony. And that's all I had.
All right, next we're gonna move into our open forum. We have one for tonight. Read his comments and then we'll ask that person to come up to speak. We now move into the public comment session of our agenda. The board welcomes comments from citizens who have completed public comment forms this evening, which are accepted prior to the start of the meeting and are not transferable to other speakers. Please be advised that the information shared in public comment is the opinion of the individual speaker, not the district. 2 minutes per person have been allotted for public comments. Please keep all public comments related to school district governance and operations. If you have a specific concern related to an employee of the district or a specific student issue, you are encouraged to utilize the district's grievance procedures provided in board policies on the district website. Finally, remember that the board may not discuss or act upon any issues that are not properly posted on the agenda. You'll see the 2 minutes on the screen. When you're comfortable and ready to go, give a nod and they'll start the clock. Yaman Hempstead. I hope I didn't say your name wrong. Madam President. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Yaman Hempstead. First, I'd like to say there are a lot of things that don't sit right with me here at Red Oak ISD. The opinions from outsiders who know nothing about what happens within the walls of Red Oak High School, the fact that we're referred to as the future but aren't quite treated that way, and the fact that I only have 2 minutes to speak and about 10 minutes of anger. Now, you might be wondering, what is this young lady talking about? She knows nothing. She's just a teenager. But I know enough. I know enough to understand that there are real issues and problems here in Red Oak ISD. I know enough to understand that there is a push to get rid of Miss Story, and yet only 24% of our community voted in the last election. And Miss Story, sadly, you are so blind to your ignorance that you don't even realize it. You've not only disappointed my peers and I by not only engaging with the students of Red Oak High School. For example, I emailed you May 3rd for an interview regarding district improvement. Instead of accepting or declining, you had your puppet Miss Sturman respond to me. I know enough to understand that my peers are broken, and so is the education system, and there is a disconnect between students and teachers, meaning there are bigger problems than whatever a tax hike is. My peers are dealing with mental health issues, food insecurity, and even drug addictions. Let's just say that education is not for everyone, and you should be uncomfortable at the fact that not only do you have parents and staffs upset with you, but the students of Red Oak High School as well. I'd like to say thank you to the board members who actually have a passion for children, and to the ones who don't, there's the door. Everyone leaving here today should ask themselves one simple but necessary question. How can I better Red Oak ISD? And vote Sean Kelly, place 5. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll move into our action items. Consent agenda, is there anything you would like to build to discuss individually? Do you have a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and a second by Mr. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consideration and approval of audit and engagement letter for 2022, 2023. Dr.
Yes.
Bill Johnston.
Yes, thank you. As we close out this fiscal year, it's time to start also planning for the audit of the end of this fiscal, the financial audit. And we won't have an engagement letter from Hankins, Easop, Deaton, Tonsey, and Scarborough. They've added Scarborough this year. And they do our financial audit, so we have the engagement letter for that, and we ask the board to approve the engagement letter so we can start the audit process in June for preliminary component, and then more probably September for the main component of the audit. And they also do help us do our act for every year as well.
Anybody have any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept and approve the Hawkins, Eastop, Deaton, Ton, Say, and Scarborough to conduct the Red Oak ISD annual physical audit for the 2022-2023 fiscal year.
Second. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Knight, a second by Donna Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0. Consideration approval of board nomination TASB director candidate.
Yes, districts have the opportunity to nominate a candidate from their own school board for the TASB Board of Directors. This year, those individuals to be nominated are for Region 10, Position D. Any candidate in a contested race who receives endorsements from a majority of the district in the region will automatically be elected to that position. The current director in Position D is Kevin Carbo from Mesquite ISD, and he has indicated that he will be seeking re-election. The term of this position is for 3 years, beginning at the close of 2023 annual TASA TASB convention and expiring after the convention in 2026. So the administration recommends a consensus of the board in the event you wish to nominate a candidate for the TASB director position D.
I think we have the option of taking no action
You do.
to, if we don't wish to nominate somebody on our board or put our support towards
Kevin Carbo.
Mr. Carbo, then we can take no action and not do anything with it. What would you like to do? I can't hear you.
I vote that we do nothing.
Okay, is that your motion?
No. I make a motion.
So she has a motion to table it?
Second.
So we have a motion to to table it by Ms. Peterson, I'm sorry, Ms. Porter, and a second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0. Consideration and approval of board policy, DNA, local performance appraisal, evaluation of teachers. Ms. O'Leary.
You receive DNA local policy reflecting the performance appraisal evaluations of teachers. This policy was brought to the board last month for discussion item and review. Again, we'd like to recommend a change in the frequency of only one component of the evaluation cycle and change the 145-minute observation for eligible teachers to every 2 years. Every teacher will continue to participate in the rest of the evaluation cycle and receive a summative evaluation at the end of the year. The administration recommends that the board adopt DNA local policy as presented. Are there any questions?
I wasn't here, but I got a question. So who's gonna track who's getting their,
We have a data list that already tracks a lot of the information that is in the policy. So we could always add a column to all our pilot data, but we could always add a column to that to show who qualifies and who doesn't. We provide that to the principals at the beginning of the year, and so that could be an easy addition to that spreadsheet.
and is it set up that a teacher every few years will go through the process? Or could somebody be here for 10 years and
So
not have
every
anything?
teacher has to go through the process every year. The 45 minutes, they'll have to go through it every 2 years if they're on the list.
Okay.
So no one's gonna go 10 years.
Okay, all right,
So they
was my
have to
question.
do it every 2 years.
thank you. Do we have a motion or any more questions? We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the DNA local policy as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Knight, a second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0. Consideration approval of board policy, FDA local admissions, interdistrict transfers, and board policy, FFAC local wellness and health services. Ms. Suba.
Did see these last.
It's no long. Intermission.
There for now and fix it in just a minute. You did have the opportunity last month to review FDA local and FFAC local. The first one is related to interdistrict transfers and reducing the amount of time that those continue on. It was previously a semester being reduced to a grading period. Previous versions may have said a 6 weeks, but we were advised to put a grading period, which is a 6 weeks. In the event that we should at some point go to a 9-week period, that would still cover it. Otherwise, we would have to change it. So a grading period rather than a semester. The second one is the ability of certain district personnel authorized and trained to administer opioid antagonist medication within the established procedures. And having met with Chief and Sue Brown, they are endorsing what it says in the policy that you have. This would take effect starting next school year by the time we get people trained. With us being this close to the end of the school year, we can't get people trained and get all the procedures in place that we need to protect the district and yourselves. So that would take effect at the start of next school year.
How many people per campus are you looking at to be trained?
I'm going to defer to Chief and Sue on that. So just to repeat for the public who may be watching, that would be training police and nursing staff on each campus.
Just
Is there a way to train others as well? Just due to the fact that I know, just like the fentanyl, it'll happen real quick. You know, so I'll let Sue answer.
Future we can do, but it is a medication that will be kept in the clinic and locked. The police officers will carry it on their belt and they will have it directly with them. So it still is a matter of accessing. I know to start with, we're planning on one package, which is a dose of 2 nasal sprays to have on each campus, and that's where we're starting. We may progress and have it located throughout the building in the future, but I think this is a great starting point for us.
I just know the time of sometimes of the essence.
Right, right. And each package that we have, and we have, Reach Council has offered us free. It's a generic naloxone that we will be able to have. It has 2 doses in each package. So if we have to treat someone and they're not responding within 2 to 3 minutes, we can give them a second dose. But whenever we come across someone that is a possible overdose or anyone that is not responsive, we're going to be calling 911, and we have a rapid response within the city.
Okay, thank you.
Just a further comment, so the nurses will be able to operate because they're going to be under some directive. Law enforcement's actually going to be able to have policy and the training, but they're exempted in state laws and some of the liabilities. So to answer your question, we'd have to research who all qualifies under that exemption for first responders. So some staff may not actually be able to qualify, but I will say that this continues to be an evolving change because of the importance of the drug. I could see change in the future where more people will be able to do it.
Okay, thank you.
And nursing, we're going to be getting our orders from Dr. Lee Nordstrom, who's the Ellis County Medical Authority, and she's agreed to write standing orders for us for next year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you both.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move that we add or revise local policies as recommended by the Red Oak ISD administration.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Peterson and second by Ms. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration approval of City of Red Oak permanent utility easement.
Good evening. This is in reference to the utility easement that we previously discussed that the City of Red Oak has now finalized. You see a copy in your attachments there. Remember we talked about there's actually an easement there already on part of it's for the gas and the electrical that runs along the eastern border of Red Oak Elementary. This will benefit the district in the sense that it's going to give us better sewer line access, and it's going to help out the whole neighborhood in those areas. And as you can see, the city is willing to compensate us in cash for $2,873 for this easement, and they will hopefully get started soon and have it all repaired back just as it is. We won't even know it's there, just like when Trinity River did the sewer line.
We already have some easements through there right now, right?
Yeah.
Or, yeah,
This just adds to them.
okay.
Lets them put the sewer line in. If you look in the, you can see them on the drawing there. The gas and the electrical in there already.
All right. We have any other questions? A motion?
I'll make a motion that we grant a the, .5 or .4710 acre utility easement at 200 Valley Ridge Road, Red Oak, Texas, to the city of Red Oak, and grant the superintendent and/or designate authority to complete the negotiations and sign the appropriate documents.
We have a motion by Mr. Knight, a second by Ms. Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, sign, same sign.
Thank you,
Makes
sir.
sense. Passes 6-0. Consideration and approval of purchase of door lock upgrades, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, as Dr. Johnston alluded to earlier, safety and security are a big topic of discussion now throughout the state. We were notified earlier that we were the recipients of a $344,288 grant. And with the grant, there came specifics that we needed to do within the grant. One good thing about it was we were ahead of the game in many areas. And so now we're trying to catch up. Those of you that have been around for a while, we had card reader badge access and ability to lock the doors down remotely for a long time, but some of that technology needs to be upgraded at this point. And so we're asking tonight that we, for the door lock upgrades, we're asking that the board would approve awarding KLC through a TIPS contract $146,300 to upgrade our older system and get everything online. And this would put it all, the good thing about this is this would put it all in the cloud where we can do it remotely instead of having to go to each door reader, which they have to now with some of them to do some updates.
Anybody have any questions? No. We have a motion?
Move to approve the purchase of door lock upgrades from KLC Video Security through the TIPS contract number 200203 in the amount of $146,300 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson and a second by Ms. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0. I guess that permanently retires Miss Jinkies. 4,000 keys she used to carry around. Consideration approval of window safety film, Mr. Rose.
Yes, this is another part of the proposed safety rule. One of the things is that we must abide by hardening, what they're referring to as hardening the facilities. That's by either fencing or a window film by entrances and windows adjacent and near all entrances, exterior entrances to buildings. We are doing this. We have had multiple vendors come out, and I spent days with them, and we have decided that we would like to go with Metro Tent Texas. They come highly recommended, and they are not only a certified, but they're a premier elite dealer for the 3M window product. We've chosen to go with the 3M product because just as during COVID, now since this has hit, there are a bunch of window tent vendors. And we're not quite sure where they're making it or where it's from, but 3M is a industry standard throughout not only the U.S., but throughout the world.
Yes.
And so we chose to go with them, and that's what I'd like to do tonight.
Do we have any questions? We have a motion.
I have a quick question. Is, double check that amount on the actual recommendation.
$197,347.
No, mine says the same as the one above it.
So that would need to be corrected on the administrative recommendation. Give us that amount again. 197,
347.
197, 347.
Oh, you didn't get that. Come on, man.
If anyone say it again. Okay, I move to approve the purchase of window safety film from Metro Tint Texas Professional Glass Tinting, a 3M certified and premier elite dealer through the TIPS contract number 200203 in the amount of $197,347 as presented.
Second the motion.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Mr. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign.
One more question. Do we need to amend that contract number as well? In the motion. I believe the contract number is 220604.
Yeah, I'm seeing 2206. I don't know where.
Or is that Metro?
Same.
On the first page, is it Metro Tint?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it says Metro Tint has awarded TIPS contract 220604. So we need to amend that motion to be contract number 220604.
Y'all must have a different copy than I've got.
Missed it.
Would you like to,
Modify.
Say the whole
Amend
thing
it.
again?
Sorry.
Okay. My correction is I move to approve the purchase of window safety film from Metro Tint Texas Professional Glass Tinting, a 3M certified and premier elite dealer through the TIPS contract number 220604 in the amount of $197,347 as presented.
Second the motion.
all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Consideration and approval of required USDA 2023-2024 student breakfast and lunch prices. Mr. Stanford.
Brent said I haven't been up here since 2017, so it's about time I get to come up here.
You're prettier Brent than Brent.
Can't grow my beard. Okay, so the first one on here is for the student breakfast and lunch price increase. USDA requires that we adjust our school lunch prices to be in compliance with the 2023-24 weighted average price requirement of $2.99. The high school lunch price will change to $3.10, a 10-cent increase. The middle school lunch price will change to $3, a 10-cent increase. And the elementary lunch price will change to $2.90, a 10-cent increase. In addition, breakfast prices will also increase by 10 cents. Elementary and middle school breakfast will change to $1.40, and high school breakfast will change to $1.60. The increase is required so that we do not use federal funds to provide paid lunch and breakfast to students, and we haven't increased since 2017. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Still pretty cheap.
This is for the student breakfast and lunch prices. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the 2023-24 lunch and breakfast prices as presented and required by USDA.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, a second by Ms. Porter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Next, we have the consideration and approval of required USDA 2023-2024 adult breakfast and lunch prices.
Okay, same, but we haven't had an increase in adult meal prices since I've looked back, and I haven't seen one since I've been here in 2014. USDA requires that breakfast and lunch meals sold to teachers, administrators, custodians, and other adults are priced so that the adult payment is sufficient to cover the overall cost of the adult meal. In order to meet this requirement, adult meals will increase from $1.80 to $3 for breakfast and from $3.25 to $4 for lunch. This increase in adult meal prices will meet the requirement as directed by USDA. Any questions?
Any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion that we approve of the 2023-24 adult meal prices as presented and required by the USDA.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Knight, a second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Consideration approval of RFP number 2022-1101, ROISD Food Catering and Related Services. Ms. Phillips.
Request for proposal for Red Oak Food Catering and Related was properly posted and released with an extended due date. We've had this one open all year. Following responses were received for the month of, this should say April and not December. Glad it's not still December. Responses were received from Chick-fil-A and Red Oak. They are currently on our list, but they needed to renew. Jason's Deli and Annie Freeze Chill Factory. Administration recommends approving those vendors to add to our list.
Where exactly is Annie Freeze Chill Factory?
I'm not completely sure. They do some kind of like snow cone type thing. That was a middle school request.
Is it mobile?
Mr.
I
Waller,
think so.
where's that
It's a
at?
truck.
Admit it.
I think it's a mobile truck. Yeah.
It's actually a snow cone truck.
Okay.
I don't know if they snow cone, but they have several different freezers. I don't know the location, I just know the truck. But we were looking to do something because one of the other competitors has been pricing themselves out. And
Yeah.
so we were looking for a more affordable way to go. So
All right, cool. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve Chick-fil-A, Red Oak, Jason's Deli, and Annie Freeze Chill Factory as vendors for food catering and related services.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Peterson, a second by Ms. Knight. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You can run that truck by us anytime you want to try it out.
We got to test it out.
Consideration and approval of the salary schedule for 2023, 2024. Dr. Johnson.
As we previously discussed, had to come up with some budget information, and so we come up with this as projected salary schedules for next year, where the teachers a $1,500 per step increase, and those that are above the new step 30 would get $1,000 increase as well. 3% for administrative staff and 5% for the hourly. And again, this is also subject to change based on legislative action. And this is what we're moving forward with. If legislature comes back and wants to do more than that, then we'll have to come back and ask the board for that. But this is what we're budgeting for right now.
All right. Any questions? We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed employee compensation plan for the year 2023, 2024 fiscal year, and authorize district administration to continue to review all employee groups to ensure that the pay is properly distributed within all groups.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Knight, second by Ms. Peterson. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-0. That concludes our action items. You have information items in the back. You'll find the enrollment report, finance report. Time is 8:22 p.m. We will convene into, or adjourn, I'm sorry, in the closed session pursuant